No, to someone like the famous Graham Allison, who establishes statistics about the cases where two countries facing each other go to war, Graham Allison must be very happy because, in a way, what Joe Biden is saying, not saying explicitly, but implicitly, I do have an enemy, I'm pointing fingers at that enemy, and I'm just making that step which Graham Allison very often points out as the extra step, the mile too far, where you really get closer or too close to going to war. So I think Xi Jinping reads Graham Allison, we do read Graham Allison, and there are only few cases where those countries don't go to war. Of course, China is not ready, is not willing. And
so hang on, you're saying that that speech is a step on that path to conflict?
I'm not saying that it's a declaration of war, not at all.
Right.
I'm just saying that it might trigger a chain of events if no one acts to counteract this action, which might lead to what people say they don't want.
Counteract how?
Well, it's what we used to call escalade in the old
escalation.
days. It's escalation. It's exactly escalation. This is what, yeah.
Pierre Morcos, is that how you heard that speech?
Well, I would be far more nuanced. I don't think that this was a declaration of war. I hope that Washington is not on the path of war with Beijing. Actually, President Biden said the contrary. He's quite mindful of not entertaining a Cold War mentality, and he's trying to have a broader approach and also a cooperation with allies. But the main problem, actually, from a French perspective, is this divisive approach defended by Washington, and the fact that Washington is prioritizing certain allies, notably Australia and the UK, is prioritizing certain tools, notably the military tools, and this leaning toward a more defense and strengthful posture from Washington could have destabilizing effects, such as similarly to the Trump posture over the past 4 years. So this is a concern from France, and we will need to have a discussion about that.
Pierre Aski.
I think what was not included in the speech, and which is the scene from this crisis, is Taiwan. There was not a word about Taiwan. Obviously, this is not the place to talk about Taiwan, the UN General Assembly. But that's where it all...
Or Hong Kong, for that matter.
Yes. Yeah. And, Hong Kong is part of China. Taiwan is out of the reach of China, and China wants to grab Taiwan. And if there is a conflict, it will be around Taiwan, in the Taiwan Straits or in the South China Sea. And because the issue is, does Xi Jinping at the moment believe that the US will fight for Taiwan or not? That's the only question that is valid at this stage. And if he thinks that the US is not going to fight for Taiwan, he might test it. Xi Jinping